Beware of being the rich friend in your group. So here's the common scenario that I see with a lot of successful young men. You start at a low level, you get onto self-improvement, you build a business, maybe you level up in a career, and you get to the point where you're doing well. Maybe you're making 5K a month or even more than that. The problem is most of your friends are actually still low level, struggling with business, shit careers. Now let's say you go up even further and you go to 20K a month. Now you're like rich compared to these guys who are all around here, still switching business models, still trying to figure out the career, changing their offer, changing the niche. They're all just stuck here. But you're like the one guy who's really excelled. And naturally, because these guys are your friends, they're funny, they're nice to you. Naturally, you want to bring them up with you. So you give them opportunities, you give them jobs, you really help them out. But a few things happens here where, one, these guys, even though you don't believe it right now, are kind of slowing down your progress. But also, two, they're not as good friends as you think they are. And so you get this awkward situation where you're doing really well, your friends are not doing well, and you are still adamant with being friends with them because, they know a lot about you and you've got some shared humor and it's nice times together. And of course, it would be shallow for you to choose friends who are more successful just based on that. So you stay friends with these guys. But then, for example, you'll go out to dinner and it's always going to be you who pays for everyone. If there's one person paying for the entire bill for everyone, let's say you go out with like 4 people, it'll be you. You're like the high value man. You're the successful guy now who pays for everyone. And that's nice to do. It's really nice to do a couple of times, once a week, once every now and then. But it keeps on happening. Eventually you make so much money. Let's say for the guys here who are in like the top 0.01%, let's say you get up to about 100K a month. It's just going to feel absurd for you to let someone else pay the bill when you make 100 times or 50 times more money than they do. So basically the pressure is on you to pay for the bill like every single time. They never offer to pay, whether it's something small, like, okay, it's something at dinner time, or it's something else where you've helped them with. Your generosity starts being taken for granted and expected. And this video is right for you if you really feel this. At first, it was like you were giving a gift to people when you would pay for them for something small, whatever. But then you realize that they never offer to pay anything for you. And now it's like they just expect it. There's one thing which is like, don't get me wrong, spending money on people is a great idea. It actually increases your happiness more than spending it on yourself. But only if that person is actually quite grateful for it and they actually thank you for it. But you'll get into friendships where you'll pay for them and let's say you're out with 4 guys and there'll always be 1 or 2 guys who don't even thank you for paying the bill. They don't even thank you. Because they feel kind of awkward, right? Because they're getting like little broed right now. One guy usually will thank you, but still he will often not reciprocate. So when these are your friends, your brothers, it doesn't seem so bad. But after a while, like this dynamic, this archetype of the young, successful guy who's in a social circle of people who aren't as successful as him, you will start to realize you're being taken for granted here. And usually the guy who stays stuck in this situation is like this very like happy, friendly type of guy who thinks the best of everyone, thinking that everyone else is like the happy, friendly type of guy. Because if you're a bit more like if you're a bit more realistic, you'll realize that, oh yeah, everyone else is maybe taking a bit of advantage over your generosity. You'll see the truth of it. But what I've seen is for the guys who get stuck in this situation, they're very like happy, very like they're not playing any games. They don't, they're not trying to play power games with their friends or anything, which is probably as you should be. But the problem is people can deceive you and people can take you for granted and people can just expect things from you when you are that type of guy. And these are the guys who are most vulnerable to when they become successful, just getting rinsed by their friends. So why is this such a problem? Why is it a problem if your friends, you're paying for your friends? There's such a thing called extrinsic motivation, which is basically when we give someone a reward on top of the thing that they were doing anyway. So for example, if we make children read a book and they enjoy reading the book, they'll read it for like 1 hour a day. If we say, okay, well, if you read it for 1.5 hours, you get this gold star that you can redeem for like some more time playing video games or for some ice cream or something. Now they'll read it for 1.5 hours a day because, they're more motivated because of this extrinsic reward. But then if we say, oh yeah, by the way, we're not really doing the gold star thing anymore, you would expect them to go back to how long they were reading for before the implementation of this reward. But it actually drops down. Quite significantly, actually. It drops down because they were once rewarded for it. Now that the reward has stopped, they're not at the same baseline as they were before. They're at a lower baseline because they're almost like pissed off, like, oh yeah, but I used to get like a reward for this. Even though, they, like rationality would tell you they should go back to the original level. If he used to read for 1 hour, then you gave him a bonus, which made him go up to 1.5 hours. If you stop the bonus, it should go back to 1 hour. No, but it goes less than 1 hour. And this is the similar with friends, friends with quotation mark, friends who take you for granted. The intrinsic action is coming together, like let's say eating something together. That's like what we've always been doing. But when you give an extra reward as like, okay, you pay for them, that's nice, and they're more likely to come out with you. They'll say yes more often because now it's easier. There's less friction. There's more reward. They get to have all this fun and they don't pay for it. But then if you stop paying, they'll actually be annoyed and they'll be less likely to come out with you than if you never paid for them in the first place. And a bunch of guys who are quite rich, who have experienced this, are probably nodding their heads. You can think of friends who, when you used to pay for them all the time, they were there all around. And the moment you stopped paying for them, that's when they start kind of like deviating away, which is so strange because if you never paid for them in the first place, they actually would have been better friends. So this is the problem with being like the rich friend. You often just want to be generous, and it feels a bit awkward to split the bill with 6 fucking guys when you're at the table. And when you've got enough money, you'll just say to the waiter like, "Oh, I'll pay for all of it," right? And it feels like a bit of a flex. You feel cool and stuff. So you don't want to have like the disturbance of paying for okay, I'll pay. I had the chicken and the Coke. No, I didn't have the Coke. I had this one and I had the water. No, he had the water. No, I had 4 sips of your water. Like, we're not in Netherlands. We don't need to divide things by how many fucking milliliters we've all drank from the fucking Coca-Cola or some shit, right? So it feels awkward to split the bill. And when you've got the money, it feels like, okay, well, it's easy. It's only $100. I make fucking 1,000 an hour. I make 2,000. It's easy for me. But when you are making money and you are quite easy spending the money, it actually creates quite a lot of problems, specifically when your friends are not as rich as you. When your friends are rich, it's different because you pay today for everyone, they pay tomorrow for everyone. It's easy, right? When you've got rich friends, it's completely stress-free. You don't keep a tab or anything. You just basically, you almost fight each other to pay the bill. And in the end, it ends up close to 50-50, like after a few months or years, because you both are like fighting to pay the bill here and there, here and there. But it's when you have broke friends, it's when you have friends who are not rich like you, that's when there's problems in the relationship, because the pressure will always be on you to pay not just for yourself but for them too, especially if you're the one who's kind of organized like the nights, which kind of makes sense. But it builds up a weird bit of resentment, especially when the other guys have quite a lot of ego and they want their own kind of like, they want to be big bro, right? They don't want to be little broed by you. They feel awkward with it. So this is going to sound weird, but what do you get from the friendship? People don't like to ask these types of questions because it seems really like shallow or something. But look, what do you get from the friendship? Let's say if you are the rich guy and you have like a poor friend, what do you get from the friendship? Now you'll say like, okay, well, he's got a nice personality. It's like a nice vibe, right? Basically, I get vibes from this friendship. But the thing is, he also gets vibes from your friendship as well. The vibes are actually matched. You're both funny. You both have nice personalities. That's equal. There you go. That's an equal match. Now, the difference is, though, since you're rich, he gets like extra boost from you. Like you spend money on him and you invite him to things he couldn't usually afford. You pay for him and you give him all these extra opportunities. But he can't really do that for you. Now, wait, actually, let's go to this. They'll literally think you're a bad person for weighing up a friendship like this, by the way. A lot of people will look at what we're talking about here and they'll be like, what? You guys are so shallow. That's so crazy. But the thing is, they're always the poor people. They're the broke people who they don't want you to wake up and realize like, oh yeah, you're just being like taken granted. Like you're being fucking used right now. Because if it was the other way around and they were the rich people, I'm telling you right now, the same person who'd think that you're weird for weighing up this friendship because of the fact that they're not really contributing their fair share, if they were rich, I'm telling you right now, they would not be friends with you if you were broke. They would literally, like these people who are broke, but they hang around like a rich person. I'm telling you right now, when these people make money, they always stop like all of their fucking broke friends from behind, and they step into the sort of rich person character like immediately. Like it's a bit of a power play, even though they don't really, admit that they're doing it. But like, don't ever feel bad and don't get gaslit for weighing up friendships to see, okay, like it sounds bad, but like, what do I get out of this? Because we both get an equal amount of sort of like fun from each other. Yeah, we laugh with each other, sure. But then I'm giving them this extra huge addition with paying for things, and we'll talk about something else in a second. But they don't really do that back to me. So the fun is matched, the personalities are matched, but I'm doing this extra thing that they're enjoying, but I don't really get something else like that back. And what's interesting is if they were in this one-sided friendship, they would stop hanging out with you. So don't ever feel bad for weighing this up. Now, look, they benefit not just from the money that you spend, but also from learning from you. But you don't learn so much from them because, look, learning about money, if you're the successful rich friend, learning about money, learning about business, learning about content is 100 times, 1,000 times more valuable than what they can teach you that you can get a professional coach for like $50. So look, specifically when it comes to money, let's say you're good at business, right? And let's say right now you're already spending money on the person, which is like we're talking about is problematic. But let's talk about just conversations, like just talking. Let's talk about teaching each other. Now, naturally, you're going to teach the thing that you're good at, which is business, which is making money. Now, that is a way higher leverage conversation than them talking about the thing that they can talk about, which, they might be better at you, for example, at fitness or at girls or something. But the thing is, you can get a professional coach in these topics for like $25 an hour. That's it. $25 an hour, you can get like a personal trainer to watch you. Okay. So like, it's this thing of like, oh, no, like, it's give and take, bro. Like we can both, you teach me about business and then I'll buy you a coffee and then I'll also teach you about like fitness or something. But the difference is business coaching. Let's say if they want coaching, let's say you're I don't know, you have like an agency or something, right? And they want to start one. Your coaching is worth like a fucking $1K an hour. That's the difference. But their thing that they can teach you is like $25 an hour. And it seems equal because it's like, oh yeah, but we're both teaching each other something. But objectively, you could just get a fucking pro to teach you and like conserve your time and get someone's full undivided attention for like $25, $50 an hour. When you are the guy who's good at making money, even the conversations you have in terms of, like naturally you call each other out, you teach each other things, even those conversations are one-sided because even if they can teach you something, they'll automatically teach you something that has way lower leverage than teaching about money. Let's say it's even something like, oh, it's spiritual, they'll, oh yeah, bro, I'll teach you about ego. I'll teach you about ego death. I'll teach you about the spiritual enlightenment or some shit. Okay, cool. But you can still pay some fucking guy $30 an hour who lives in Bali who'll teach you these things anyway. But when he needs your help for business, that's one, like if you're rich, bro, like you'd sell your time for about $1K an hour, maybe even more. So it seems bad what I'm saying, and only like rich people will get this. Any poor person who's watching this will think, oh, you guys are all shallow. Friendship's not supposed to be weighed up and stuff. Yeah, of course, but they're fucking poor. I'm telling you right now, rich people value their time. Poor people don't. But the thing is, this sort of broke friend archetype that we're talking about, they are the most like weirdly needy and they have the highest demands as well. It's so weird. It's like these people and also people like this, they'll gaslight you and try and make you feel bad for honoring your time and making sure that you're in a relationship that serves both people. Because look, like I said, the fun is matched either way. You're a fun person, they're a fun person. Okay, sweet. You both have fun together. That's equal. But then all the extra stuff that you give them, like the teaching and then the money directly and then also teaching, that is not matched at all. That's all on your side. You're being used. Because if it was the other way around, if you were suddenly broke and skillless, and the same person you've been thinking about this entire video, if they were the ones who were rich, I'm telling you right now, if you were broke and you didn't bring much to the table other than the fun that was matched between you two, this guy would suddenly be too busy. So don't you feel bad, because if you're watching this video, you're probably like a quite a kind-hearted guy. You're a very, very generous guy. Don't you ever feel bad? Like and you know what's fucking specific about this? The people who we're talking about here, they will make you feel like you're not a kind-hearted guy, because sometimes you'll bring this up and they'll say to you like, no, you've got to give more. No, why are you weighing up friendships like this? Whatever. These people will like gaslight you when actually like you're the one who's been bringing this person up. You're the one who's still been inviting them to things. You're the one who's been paying every single time. I'm telling you right now, the friend that you're thinking about in your mind through this video, if the roles were reversed, he probably would stop inviting you if he knew that he'd have to pay for you every time. So here's the solution: just be friends with people on your level. If someone is far below your level, then naturally you have less to relate to. Find the equally successful person who then has a good personality rather than only personality but broke. Like, this is the common dynamic, right? So when you're at like level 1 and you've got other friends who are at level 1, if you're watching this, you're the type of person who grows extremely quickly compared to most people who kind of don't really grow, go down, go up, whatever. But the problem is you carry with you your day ones, which has always been seen as like a bit of a flex. Like, oh yeah, like bring the guys with you. And yeah, if they've been leveling up as well, that's fucking awesome. But it's not a flex to like keep your fucking broke, pathetic friend who's not leveling up. It's like, that's not a flex. That's not like a good trait on you. That's like a bad character judgment. That's like saying like, oh yeah, keep your first employee, and that's like a flex. No, if your first employee is at a far lower level than your current employees, then you keeping the first employee isn't like some cool little cute flex. It's like that's just you being a bad CEO. Like, being a CEO is seeing the best person for each role in the company. And if you keep someone just for this thing of like, oh yeah, but he was number one, it doesn't fucking matter. Like, my first ever employee was like random fucking brown guys from Fiverr. Like, it's some video editors I was paying like $3 an hour, and they were fucking shit. Is it a flex if I say like, oh, I'm still working with one of them? Like, it sounds cute, right? And for the people who swing more on the sort of left, weak political side, yeah, that sounds so cute. Give people opportunities and shit. But really, that just means you're a bad fucking businessman. And likewise, bringing like leveling up with your day one friend, both of you together, it's fucking cool, awesome, sweet. That's like, the Tate brothers. Okay, both of them are high level, but you leveling up and this guy not, and you still bringing him with you, that's not like cute. That's just you fucking not having high standards. That's like, okay, imagine you get a girlfriend when you're in your early days, you're both like similar level. Let's say you're both like the equivalent of like a 5 out of 10. And let's say you've grown a lot now. You're like an 8, you're like a 9 out of 10, not just in looks, but in everything, right? And let's say that she really hasn't, and she's like a 4.5 now. It's not like you're not cute and wholesome if you're still with her. You just don't have respect for yourself. You deserve someone better. Like, this person does not deserve you. That you are literally, by definition, settling. But the weak collective insecurity of the world will think you're a bad person for leaving someone behind who was there with you when you were at low level. And yeah, if you were at a low level, they were at a low level, then both of you started to level up. That makes sense. But most people don't fucking level up. So instead of you forcing your old friends to try and join with you, which is just not usually working, instead, when you've got to this fucking awesome level, look around and find the other guys who are at this level as well. And here are the people who are actually like you can relate to, who are actually on the same level as you, and who you will have more genuine respect for. So be friends with people on your level. I know this sounds like basic, and I know it sounds a bit shallow, but it's so true. And look, the moment you realize that the person you've been sort of helping this entire time, that when they become successful, they would be doing this. Like, if you were broke and they were rich, they wouldn't be backing you as much as you've been doing it to them. That's when you kind of relax, thinking like, oh yeah, like I've been like extra generous, extra. So be careful of not getting taken advantage of. Be careful of being the guy who's paying for everything when you go outside. Just be friends with people on your level, because then they will, like, naturally, they can afford the things that you want to do, and they'll pay, and there won't be this pressure for you to always pay for them or give them money or whatever, because they make their own money. And if someone's far below your level, you won't even really be able to relate to them. You're just being friends out of like history instead of current days. And yeah, it's fun to talk to these people, of course, but you're also fun to talk to. That's matched. Don't you, like, hype up someone else without thinking about yourself. You're fun, they're fun. Okay, fair enough, that's matched. But if they're not as ambitious as you are by definition slowing down your rate of progress by being friends with them. You really are. So find an equally successful person who then has good personality rather than only personality but broke. So this is like, look, this is the way that I've seen rich people like make friends is they first evaluate each other's success. And that sounds really shallow, right? Like, oh, you're just judging people on success. But the reason why is because it's kind of like a very quick way to see if someone is on your level. Let's say you meet someone and both of you make like 50K a month, right? Both of you are rich. Then let's say you find out that this guy is a bit of an asshole. You don't really like his personality. Well, then you wouldn't be friends with him. Of course not. You wouldn't be friends with him. We're not saying that you just be friends with someone just for money, but rather you meet someone who makes, first of all, you want to find someone who makes somewhat similar amount of money than you. You make 50K, he makes 45. You make 50K, he makes 55, whatever. Okay, you make similar. Then you realize that he's actually funny and nice. Now you become friends with him. So I'm not saying that, okay, you just be friends with people who have got money and now you like hate your life, you hate your friendships, because that's horrible. We don't want to do that. But rather you use it as like a gateway to see, okay, first of all, is this guy even close to my fucking level? If you look at him and he's got, and this isn't just about money, by the way, this can also be about the physique. If you look at someone, he's got like a shit physique and you're just thinking like, you're a fucking athlete. He's not. You've got so much less to relate to. You know, you don't respect the fact that he's like flabby 20 fucking % body fat. You're a fucking athlete. Then that also fucking counts. Don't you ever let anyone gaslight you into thinking that if you're an athlete, like you've got to be nice to like, and you know, be friends with someone without taking into consideration their level of fitness. No, fuck that. You're a fucking athlete. You want athlete friends. In the same way, you want successful friends. It's not, this isn't a bad thing. I'm telling you right now, every rich person believes this. It's only poor people and the poor sort of beliefs that you have in your brain from your family, from TV shows, from like LGBT fucking social media platforms like Reddit. It's only these soft fucking influences, these weak influences inside of you that's made you think this is a bad thing. Athletes like being friends with athletes. Successful people like being friends with successful people. That's not a bad thing. Find people who are actually on your level first, like what is equal, not just in just smiles and happy personality, because you'll find someone who's like a fucking lowlife, who's a junkie and has like a fun personality. That's not a judgment on whether you should be friends with someone, like someone who's smiling and can make you laugh. Like that's what like a low standard friendship is that, okay, someone is a bit of a fucking junkie Jeffrey, but because they can make you laugh, you kind of like want to be friends with them. No, like that's fucking stupid. First, find someone who matches your big ambitions in life. So whether it's the physique or it's like the success in the business, find the equal match. And then that's like the gateway to talk more. And then if you really like their personality, then you establish more of a friendship. You invite them to do things. You hang out with each other more. You open up to them more. The best friendships you'll get or when you and the guy are at a quite similar level on like a similar path. Now, you might have old friendships with people who are at very different paths, very different life, and you think, oh no, but that friendship's really good. But it's just because you haven't updated your beliefs about this friendship, because if you really looked at it from an outside perspective, you'll realize like actually the friendship's nowhere near as good as you think it is. It's just because you've got a lot of history together. But it's of utmost importance that you keep like high level people around you at every stage of the journey who are worthy of you. If there's someone who's still in the fucking low level days, who's you know a degenerate, who's distracted, and look, this only sounds bad with money, by the way, right? Let's talk about, let's say, with love, with relationships. Let's say right now you want to get a family. Let's say you want to have a family, you want to have children, and now you found a great woman to be with and to have a family with. Should you still be friends with your degen friends who are coming up to you, showing you their phone, saying, "Oh, I banged this girl, I banged this girl, I banged this girl"? Maybe. Sure, there might be nice people, but really, is that going to help your big goal in life? Probably not. It's so normal that when you want to start like a family, you start to consider like what friends you want to have in your life, because you don't really want to be friends with guys who are constantly going out and smashing girls and showing you and whatever, because it's just like they're at like a lower level of sort of the advancement of relationship than you are. And there's nothing wrong with that. You can keep some of these friends, but the thing is that your percentage chance of cheating has went up because you are keeping these friends, right? The same way that if your girl has friends who are hoes, you know for a fact the percentage chance of her cheating goes up with those friends. We all know this as guys. We know that if your girl has friends who are hoes and they go out and they suck a lot of cock, we know that her percentage chance of cheating on us will go up as well, because this fucking hoe will keep telling your girl, "Oh, this guy's hot. Oh, that guy's looking at you," right? We know this. We all fucking inherently know this. So we would want your girl to step up and to say, "You know what? Yeah, I'm not really friends with that Jessica bitch anymore because she's just not really mature." And if your girl said that about one of her like hoish friends to you, every single single fucking guy would feel happy about that, thinking, okay, this is a mature woman that I'm with, right? You'd want this. This only sounds shallow when it comes to money, but when it comes to like love, when it comes to fitness, everyone accepts it. Like if you're like a fit athlete, you being friends with a fat guy who doesn't even want to like lift and go to the gym can make sense. You can be friends with them, but generally you're not going to have the same depth of friendship as if you were friends with another athlete that eventually you guys just say, fuck it, let's go and run a fucking marathon together, or let's go, team up to do some high rocks competition or some shit. Let's go train together every day. Right, so it doesn't seem shallow when it comes to fitness. It doesn't seem shallow when it comes to love and relationships. It's only when we talk about with money, that's when people think like, oh, this is crazy, oh, whatever. Because everyone's still got poor, like leftist, eat the rich, tax the rich more kind of mindset. But I'm telling you right now, this is the route to not just money, but to actually more happiness and more genuine friendships. Because it's with money that you really get taken advantage of. Like, it's not that much of a culture that people will sort of like be more friends with a guy who's an athlete to hopefully get his help with fitness. It's not so much that people will like, be friends with the married guy so that hopefully they cheat on their wives less. That doesn't happen as much, but people 100% do force a bit more of the friendship with the rich person because they want some of that money and that influence. That's so true. So even though judging friendship based on their success is the most sort of like hated version of this, it's actually the most important. You need to watch out for yourself. Look, 99% of people are just poor little losers. And if they've watched this video, they'll be offended at what I've said because they are quite literally like they are the broke fucking mindset that we're talking about. But for you who's watching this, the guy who actually this video is for, you need to watch out and think to yourself like, look, you have something to protect and people want to take this from you. You're not a bad person from this. This is the same as like a woman who, for example, is like a virgin. She needs to have in mind, like, yeah, there's guys who want to take that from her and she needs to protect it. She's not a bad, like, imagine if guys, like, everyone was shaming her, like, no, like, you should just give it away. Like, why are you thinking about that so much? Like that's fucked up. You have something that people want and they're not going to give you like an equal amount back for it. So it's not a bad thing that you take care of this. It's not a bad thing. But people will act like you're fucking shallow for basing some of your friendships on the level of success of the person. But that, like, if it was on fitness, no one would say anything. If it was on relationships, no one would say anything. If it was on even intelligence and like criminal fucking record and how good of a citizen you are, no one would say anything. But when it comes to money, that's when people are like, oh, you're so shallow for thinking about how much money your friend makes. No, because you want to have something to relate to and you want to know that if you want to go out somewhere that they can pay for themselves, that like, you'll pay this time, they pay that time. Okay, fine. But this is it's fucking annoying how much as when you become the rich person, people will think that you're like shallow for this when this is just having standards in one area of life when everyone finds it normal in every other area of life. So if you are the rich friend, think about the friends that you've been thinking about this entire video and beware. Because the last thing I'm going to say to you is what usually happens in this common scenario is usually you notice. It starts with noticing and getting a few ideas like you have here, right? Getting it like the idea that, okay, maybe you are being taken advantage of. And for the guys who really get taken advantage of a lot, the happy, really generous guys, the problem is you usually don't do anything for a few years. For multiple years, you just kind of still be friends with this person till eventually it goes too far. You've given them too much. Eventually you've paid so much and now you start to actually resent them because you realize like this person's not even that grateful. They just expect you to keep fucking giving them stuff. They expect you to keep paying for stuff. They expect you to keep giving them money. They expect you to keep loaning the money. They expect you to keep like sharing their content or whatever it is, like whatever your sort of industry or business is. And so for the people who are at the biggest risk are like these sort of like happy, generous guys, because you'll notice that this is happening with a particular friend of yours and you won't do anything about it for years and it will just keep getting more and more and more and more and more. The ideal scenario is that you look at the level you're on and you find other guys who are on a similar level to you. You first judge them by, it sounds shallow, but you judge them, okay, hey, what do you do for work? And you hear what they do. You see, okay, oh, decent level of success. Well, it's something that I respect. There's nothing wrong with that. Then you see, okay, well, is he like a happy guy? Is he making me laugh? Do I like to spend time with him? Okay, let's go hang out together. It's not just that you'll be friends with someone who's got money automatically, but because I don't do that at all. That's like not good enough. But like, it's more that, okay, when they've got the success like you do, then let's see, okay, do they have the personality? Because if you focus more on the personality to begin with, then you become friends with a guy who's basically like a Jeffrey, and then the problem just starts again. So using the level of success of other people as like a qualifier to see like how close you could get to this person, it's not that bad of a thing. Bro, people do it all the time. It's only when you're the rich friend that people kind of like gaslight you into thinking it's a bad thing, but it's really not. Don't you ever believe the fucking lies of modern society that makes you try and believe you're a bad person for this, because you're not. You're just someone who's got self-respect. And look, you want a tribe of guys who are similar level to you, because how fucking powerful would that be? Most likely you've never even had this, but imagine if you had like 4 like killers who are all at like a similar level, right? Imagine that. Like, that's what you want, right? This is what you want. You want guys who are all at a similar level. You can all go travel together. You can all afford basically the same things. What you don't want is like, okay, you're the one guy who's making money, and then everyone else around you is like not. And now you're the one paying for everything. You're the big fucking daddy of everyone, and you're the one taking all the responsibility. And like they're asking you like what they can do for you, but it's like they can't really do much. Oh yeah, bro, just teach me about fitness. Sometimes you can get a fucking personal trainer for $25, right? So fucking have respect for yourself and the level you've got to, and realize that there's so many people on your level who'd love to be friends with you. You just need to like free up the space. Find people who aren't taking you for granted. Find people who are actually leveling up in life, and that's not a bad thing. That's just a trait of the fucking winners. We just leave people behind who can't level up as fast as we can. Is that dark? Well, yeah, but did you think it was going to be fucking easy becoming like a successful person in your 20s? Did you think it was going to be easy? Did you think you were going to keep all your cute little childhood friends? Well, no, because your values change. So there's nothing wrong with this, right? So I really hope this helps like a few of the guys watching this, because no one really teaches lessons like this. We all kind of inherently know, like, we almost all can expect something like this to happen to us. But when it's actually happening to you and you have that friend that you've been friends with for like a year or from high school or some shit, and you've been just bringing them up with you this entire time, it can be hard to think like, shit, like, to be honest, he's a pretty mid friend. Like, yeah, he's funny, which is nice, but I'm also funny, which is equal. But after that, it's like he's pretty fucking mid, and I'm giving him so much extra of my shit, and he's just like just taking it all, and he's not even crazy grateful for it either. Like, not as the level he should be. So why am I just hanging out with someone whose path in life is so different from mine? I've got to just let him go. And when you do that, what you'll notice is your path will actually get a little bit faster with every person that you've had to leave behind. And that means you meet the right people sooner. So it's a dark video. I don't expect any poor people to understand this, but if you're watching this channel, you should be rich enough to understand this. So I hope you appreciate a more advanced lesson like this. Links in the description if you want to see some of the programs that I sell for this channel, advanced self-improvement course. And if you want to be a YouTuber, just go click those links under this video. Goodbye.